Hello, Zach, it's me. We're at the beginning of a recording session and we already have one outtake.
We do, which is good. The patrons are eating well. Speaking of patrons, we new Patreon supporters on the chalkboard.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba. Wait, that's not one. That's a person with an album out.
That's a person
There's
with an
one.
album out, which you can click on the description.
There's one.
Uh,
There's one too.
yeah,
There's one. We got so many patrons, Zach. Isn't that ridiculous?
yeah, it is. It is actually kind of crazy. When I was putting the new names on the chalkboard, I was looking at it. I'm like, this is this is kind of impressive. The number of people we have.
And if you want your name on the chalk... Oh, that was bad shape. If you want your name on the chalkboard like these guys...
How bad of a shape was it?
Don't worry about it. Zach, I
Okay,
hear
that
you
makes
have
me
a...
think.
I hear you have a theory for me today.
I do. And Tom, this is a sequel to one of our previous episodes, sort of.
No! Let's go! Alright, I'm excited.
You did a video called Mance Rhaegar, Hear Me Out, which started with this quote. All right, but hear me out. Dot dot dot.
Oh, shoot.
And this one's from Zach instead of Tom.
Oh,
I have another theory I've definitely heard people say multiple times that I think has gotten a bad rap.
okay. Alright, so this is gonna be kind of a meta episode.
Is that a V?
Zev!
That is not my name.
Zev!
My 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 mom did not go through 9 months of labor and have people call me Zachary.
I didn't go through 9 months,
No.
9 years of evil labor school.
I also my mom went through 9 months of labor, which is not true. She probably went through 10 minutes of labor in 9 months of pregnancy.
She probably went through 10 minutes of pregnancy and
9 minutes of labor.
30 years of labor.
Punishment for bringing me into the world.
All right. But hear me out. ... question mark. Zach. I need you talk for a minute. I need to adjust my mic a little bit because I can hear myself. I can see myself typing on the noise levels.
Yeah. I've been rereading the books again. I had a similar thing with you, actually in a very similar spot, which is a hint to where you had the realization that you think Mance Rhaegar has some evidence we don't talk about enough.
Ooh.
I found some evidence for another theory that I think we don't talk about enough.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting, actually. Yeah, we're gonna adjust.
And outright, I'm gonna call out two YouTubers I love, one of whom I've talked to multiple times, and the other I've never met, but I'd love to. Uh, in a Alt Swift X stream with Glidus, they gave this theory an E on the tier list for plausibility, which was the tier right above an F.
An Alt Swift X Glidus stream. This theory was given an
E tier.
Was given E tier.
And it deserves so much better than that.
Very interesting, Zach. Very, very interesting.
I get why they dismissed it, because they were not like picking apart. They were going through a ton of theories. On its face, it does not sound plausible. But when you look at the text, I have some arguments I want to make.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm sort of hung up on what is E tier. I've never heard of E tier before, but I'm not going to dial in on that too much, okay? Okay. So this is one of my favorite games. This is Tom Name a Thing.
Yes.
This is Tom Name a Song of Ice and Fire theories until you find the one that you're talking about.
Yep. Now you have a hint of this was around where it was right up against the chapter that made you reevaluate Mance Rhaegar, so it's beginning of A Storm of Swords.
Okay, a theory based near the beginning of Storm of Swords. Is it a patch face theory?
It is not a patch face theory.
Is this a Is this a Tyrion theory?
It is not a Tyrion theory, although I have a separate Tyrion-related theory from the beginning of Storm of Swords also cooking.
Nice.
I have 4 chapters, or there are 4 chapters that like inspired theories in me. There's a Tyrion one, but it's not this one.
You got the theory in you. Bah, da, da. Okay, so I know. Okay, here's the problem. Okay, I stopped singing so that you could continue, but you only sang the stuff that I sang. You didn't. You didn't continue.
Tom, I'm sorry. You only get what you give.
Let's go. It's a silly video today, Zach. It's a silly video.
We've had nothing but silly recording sessions recently, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
100%. Okay, what do we need to do here? Tom, name a theory. Tom, just think up a theory. That theory is, near the beginning of A Storm of Swords, they are wondering what happened to Tyrek Lannister.
That's true, but it's not where I'm going.
Damn. Okay. Near the beginning.
I did hear the Tyrek bit and laugh a lot.
Near the beginning of Storm of Swords, the Lord Karstark gets his head cut off.
That's true. I haven't got to that part yet, actually.
Is Lord Karstark still alive? Is that the theory?
That'd be impressive. You know, I'm gonna listen to that chapter really hard to try and craft that theory, but I'm not there yet.
Oh my god, it would be like the opposite of what Wyman does to Davos. You get a body double to stand in, teach him all the lines, and kill him explicitly to make all the Karstarks mad, so you lose the war. But you keep Rickard Karstark alive.
It was a rare double unforced error, where you don't kill the person who by all rights should be killed, but you still piss everybody off by doing it.
Yeah. Is that the theory, Zach?
No.
Okay.
This is from somebody's first chapter of the book. So it's a blank one ASOS theory. So if you tell me some people with some early chapters and what happens in their first chapter, you can reverse engineer it.
Is this the first Sansa chapter? Where?
Ding!
Yeah, let's go. Let me see if I can remember what happens in the first Sansa chapter here. Is this the first Sansa chapter where Tywin's back in town and she meets Loras? She meets up with Loras and is like walking across and she talks to Marjorie and the Queen of Thorns.
Yep, that is the conversation I want to talk about.
Let's go.
There's a lot of evidence for here, or at least I think add some things to here. What do they talk about a lot? They're in the Maiden Vault, which I find fascinating, and I don't know how I work the theory, but it is in the Maiden Vault the scene takes place.
Okay. Do you want me to write anything down?
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't know how to work the Maiden Vault into this theory.
So near the beginning of Storm of Swords, Sansa Stark has a conversation with Marjorie Tyrell and Olenna Tyrell about her betrothal to Joffrey, and Marjorie's betrothal to Joffrey, and what a bad person Joffrey is.
Yes.
I think I know the theory.
What's the theory?
The theory is Olenna Tyrell poisoned Joffrey Baratheon.
No. I mean, I believe that one fully. How does she... They're very disarming to get Sansa comfortable to talk.
That's true.
Olenna, we're going to talk about two things. Olenna talks about somebody in a very demeaning way.
Oh,
and
no.
also there's a fascinating character who shows up.
No, Zach. No. This is not, you're not digging up, no.
I'm not digging up what now?
You're not digging up big brain Mace on me, are you?
Welcome to my big brain, welcome to my big brain Mace video, Tom.
God damn it.
Here, I'll give you the line. And now my oaf's son is doing the same, only he's riding a lion instead of a palfrey. It's easy
Okay.
to mount a lion, but not so easy to get off, I warned him.
Riding a lion instead of a palfrey. It's easy to mount a lion, but not
Not so easy to get off.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I warned him, but he only chuckles.
I warned him, but he only chuckles. That is Olenna to Sansa.
Yes, it is.
Interesting.
Well, welcome to Big Brain Mace. That is, she calls him an oaf. She says a bunch of other things about her late husband and her son. The only guy she says nice things about here is Willis Tyrell,
Mm-hmm.
uh, who is the more learned and intellectually accomplished male Tyrell. But she disses her late husband and her own son quite a bit, and it's the basis for our characterization of Mace is done. So we don't see a ton of Mace Tyrell until later, and admittedly, what we do see does not contradict what Olenna tells us. We definitely see more of Mace later in this book. We definitely see him in the next two books as well. But our first serious characterization of Mace comes from Olenna.
All right. Well, let's throw in some things that are definitely dings.
Okay.
Uh, there is precedent in the series for people pretending to be something that they're not. Right.
Yeah. Uh, I don't have that exactly. Uh, actually, I do have that.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Tyrion calls Peter Baelish a master juggler. He's able to come across as unassuming, even though he is greatly skilled.
He comes off as
I know
unassuming.
that's not exactly what Tyrion meant there, but a juggler is someone with an insane amount of skill, and Peter Baelish, he does not think of him as like as super duper dangerous as somebody like Varys. He would not call Varys a master juggler.
I was actually going to reference Varys, where Varys has these like masks and disguises, um, but I'm pretty sure that he says outright to Ned when he's in his cell, "Oh no, who would suspect poor simpering little Varys, right? Who would? I'm harmless." Uh, uh, so that like there's plenty of precedent for this in the series for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you kind of hit a ding earlier.
okay.
During their conversation with Sansa, Marjorie is much nicer and softer to Sansa, while Olenna asks pointed questions.
Marjorie is soft spoken and polite, while Olenna asks direct and tough questions. Hmm. Interesting.
I
That's one nice
also
corner.
I do have a I do have a couple other things that were in the vein of like where you're driving at, but since you're there, I don't need to like list all of them. Of the people have multiple faces, people pretend to be doing like different things.
Mm-hmm.
There's another very important, crucial character to this theory who shows up, who I don't think we've ever talked about before.
I think I know exactly who it is.
Who is that?
I assume that you are driving. You said an interesting character shows up in this chapter. I assume you're driving at Butterbumps.
Yes, ding! I love Butterbumps. He's great. Uh, I have a very long quote here, so I'll read it out slowly. Butterbumps
Do you want
arrived.
to just give me the like the you want to just read it out and then tell me what to write down?
Uh, uh, Butterbumps arrived before the food, dressed in a jester suit of green and yellow, feathers with a floppy coxcomb. I'm sure that's how it's pronounced. An immense round fat man, as big as three moon boys. He came cartwheeling into the hall, vaulted onto the table, and laid a gigantic egg right in front of Sansa. "Break it, my lady," he commanded. When she did, a dozen yellow chicks escaped and began running in all directions. "Catch them." Uh, I think you could say Butterbumps is a jester described as immensely round and fat, but capable of cartwheeling, vaulting, and uh, laying an egg.
Vaulting and hatching eggs. Okay. I'm gonna add something to this.
Uh-huh.
He wears motley and has a feathered headdress. Did I get that right?
His feathered costume. His costume's covered in feathers.
Um, isn't isn't Mace during the Siege of Storm's End described as feathered?
Hold on.
Doesn't he have like a feathered headdress or something? Feathered armor, maybe?
Uh, I'm gonna have to do a search of Ice of Fire on that because I don't know.
Okay, I'll vamp for a second while you're looking for that. Um, Butterbumps is a very interesting individual because we have maybe three total jesters that we get like direct interactions with, and this is the one that we talk about the least for sure.
Butterbumps hangs out with Moonboy too. They put on a show at Joffrey's wedding, which
Yeah,
is fascinating.
we get Moonboy, we get Patchface, and we get Butterbumps. So, okay, how about this? I'm gonna grab my red pen. Everybody loves the red
Mhm.
pen. I'm gonna underline the word hatching. And this is about to be a real tinfoily sentence here, okay?
Yeah.
Uh hat hatching is a word often associated with scheming.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think of that.
That's stupid, but it is evidence.
Okay, Tom,
Yeah.
can I out a true fact about you?
No.
Okay, never mind.
You may.
Tom,
As long as it doesn't require me to edit.
your social security now. So Tom, uh, you are as long as I've known you, you've been a fan of close-up magic.
That's true.
He did a cartwheel,
Mhm.
vaulted on the table, and then laid in a way that looks like laying an egg, a breakable egg.
Large enough to have 12 baby chickens inside it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, ding, by the way.
Okay.
Uh, the next line. Uh, uh, sorry, that's not a ding. I was over exuberant. It doesn't have what I thought I had in it. What happens with the chicken? Do you remember?
They all run away.
Yes, and then what happens when they're caught?
I don't know what happens when they're caught.
Uh, uh Lady Bulwer, the little girl, hands one to him, and then I'll give it to you. I'm gonna read the whole thing. Lady Bulwer snagged one and handed it to him, where he tilted back his head, popped it in his huge rubbery mouth, and seemed to swallow it whole. When he belched, tiny yellow feathers flew out of his nose. Lady Bulwer began to wail in distress, but her tears turned into a sudden squeal of delight when the chick came squirming out of his of the sleeve of her gown, and ran down her.
Interesting.
He palmed a whole chicken.
Yeah.
He did not eat it. He had feathers already in his nose to blow out, or he palmed them in there when he was faking the chicken eating, and then he palms the chicken back onto her arm. This
Very cool.
guy is incredibly good at close-up magic.
Oh, okay. Uh, into
Like that is really good skill. Like that, you know how that is done. I think that with practice you could do it, but that's not an easy set of tricks.
Yes. Um, there is a very famous uh trick that is like it's like the infinite water bowl where you take a bowl that is the size of half of a like half a watermelon
Yeah.
and you appear to like lay it um where you just like pull it out from underneath your robes.
Ding, by the way,
What?
In the Prestige, a magician appears to be a weak old man in order to sell his magic trick. He's actually young and strong.
Somewhat. You did. I was gonna get there. Someone
You described the entire fucking trick. You were there already.
a weak old man in order to sell his magic. He is actually very fit and young. Okay. We're gonna put this over here and we're gonna connect these two. This is a fun theory, Zach.
Yes. So,
Okay. I have more.
but like butter, I was thinking that exactly. Butterbums might have the egg like securely between his like legs, the way the guy with uh the Prestige might be carrying it.
Um uh you actually went in a different direction with the trick than I did. The way that the famous water bowl trick works
Yeah,
is the person comes out and he's very large. He appears to be like 350 400 pounds.
yeah.
Um and appears to be wearing a relatively tight fitting robe at that size. But in actuality, he is, you know, like 130 pounds, and just carrying 20 water bowls, like underneath
That's
his robes.
that's. I was also going to assert that he's not actually all that fat,
Mm-hmm.
and he's faking it.
Yep, this is a I'm not gonna say common, but this is a well known magic trick where you just you wear a big fake stomach and that is like and you hide stuff in there. That would track for me absolutely. Can I take a thrust in a direction I think you might be going?
Yes.
Um, a close-up magician is almost by definition an excellent uh pickpocket, um, cat burglar, and spy.
I did think about that, and it's fascinating. And I would love to have a side conversation as to why Butterbumps happened to be at Joffrey's fucking wedding of all places. I mean, he has a reason to be there. He's putting on a show, but man, somebody with that level of sleight of hand when there's murder going on would be really useful.
Butterbumps killed Joffrey.
That'd be fucking fascinating. But I
Butter,
don't think I can. I don't think I can say that for sure.
everything about her was great.
Butterbumps.
Butter, lovely lady bumps. Check them out. Is that what you're saying, Zach?
No, but
Damn it. Am I on the right track?
I'm drawing a parallel.
Okay.
Olenna is having a hard time getting Sansa to speak up, and in order to do so, she brings a comical fat oaf into the room to do ridiculous nonsense. And then all of a sudden, she's more keen to fess up.
Oh my god, I got it. You think that all of the oafish things that Mace Tyrell is doing are like it is calculated misdirection.
It's dumb. It's dumb cop, smart cop. Let's talk about how the Tyrells got there in the first place. Let's talk about the deal that struck between the Lannisters and the Tyrells.
Okay.
Tell me who goes down to negotiate that.
Peter does. Peter negotiates this deal.
Yeah, the guy we have put down is a master juggler. Uh, he's good at juggling things. He's very smart. He's also described with trickster like language. And he goes down to negotiate with the Tyrells. Who are the two people he talks to?
He for sure talks to Marjorie and Loris, or maybe that's just in the show.
No, in the books it says he negotiates with Mace and Olenna,
Perfect.
and I'm asserting that happened at the same time.
Okay. All right.
What do they get in exchange?
They get the hand of Joffrey.
They get a marriage between Joffrey and Marjorie. What else?
They get a number of strategic positions on the High Council.
Correct.
They get like basically food sale exclusivity in the Crownlands.
Yep.
They get their claim on their claim on Highgarden, which has been in dispute for a couple hundred years, is now basically incapable of being disputed because the new regime accepts them.
Yep. Sorry. Wait.
They get to eat toast basically whenever they want to.
Let me read it out.
Okay.
For support in a single battle and assurances of continued military support thereafter, they receive an exchange. That Marjorie becomes the queen.
Mm-hmm.
Loras Tyrell becomes a member of the Kingsguard.
Okay.
Mace Tyrell becomes master of ships. Garland Tyrell becomes Lord of Brightwater Keep, which was not originally their lands. Marjorie Tyrell, sorry, they read that one already. Garland Tyrell becomes, no, they read that one too. Fuck, I'm going in the wrong order. Tyrell loyalists Matthias Rowan, Paxter Redwine are added to the small council,
Mm-hmm.
and all of their previous treason from joining with Renly is completely forgiven.
Good deal.
Yeah, in exchange for showing up functionally for one battle and also continued military support thereafter in a war that is looking in a much better spot after they beat Stannis. That is quite the win for them. And this was negotiated by Olenna and Mace.
It is a remarkable windfall
Against Peter Baelish, who is the expert on screwing people over. Now, you could argue that he wanted to screw over the Lannisters by giving away too much, and I would love to hear that argument. But he still has to be part of the small council and show up with this deal and stand by it for a very decent amount of time. Pretty much the whole book. He's like there until he leaves.
He's gone before the wedding.
Uh, he's gone before the wedding, but he was still in his job, right? He was still like a crown loyalist. He wasn't completely fucking off until after the murder. Unless I'm completely forgetting. Like he's still in the good graces of the Lannisters, right? He had something to lose.
Yes, but he doesn't. So I'm with you on the like Tyrell's expertly negotiating this up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it is an unreasonable assertion that Peter Baelish was totally okay with them negotiating it up to more enthusiastically damage the Lannister position, because like legitimately from the time he has gone way before the negatives of these deals take place, and I think he assumed that the negatives were going to be a lot later because the negatives show up prematurely because Tywin dies.
That's a good point. I can't dispute that. Yeah, because he has gone before Tywin is dead, and Tywin dying expedites the power struggle. That's true.
I think if Tywin had remained alive, the strains between the Tyrells and the Lannisters would have lasted quite a bit longer before they like broke out into like open dispute.
That makes sense.
Well, wait, hang on. Let me think about this for a second. If Tywin hadn't died, if Tywin hadn't died, the war still would have been won, and Tywin would have been in the same position as Kevin.
Yes.
Would Varys have killed Tywin if Tywin hadn't died?
Probably. I mean, he lets Tyrion kill him.
Interesting. Now, here's like the most interesting takeaway from this is that if you view it from that perspective, Peter and Varys appear to be acting toward the same goal.
They both need King's Landing to be in not a good spot for their plans.
Yes.
That doesn't mean they have the same plans. They just need the same. It's that meme of everybody on the subway with the thought bubble. I can't wait for society to collapse so my ideology can rise from the ashes. But it's just that with Varys, Littlefinger, who are some other schemers? Olenna.
Like, I would love to see the argument that the two of them actively worked together for the destabilization of King's Landing, both fully understanding that they were going to screw each other over the second it was done.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Yeah. Where what an interesting and fair alliance that is, where there is no ambiguity about who's gonna screw over who. They're both gonna screw over both of them when this is over.
Speaking of Kevin, he's dealing with a political struggle at the end, and
That's
what's
true.
happening?
Cersei has destabilized the Tyrell Lannister alliance.
And who is winning that exchange?
Not Cersei.
Ding. I'll give you 2 quotes from Kevin here.
Okay.
Mace Tyrell has his own candidate for Lord Treasurer, his uncle, Lord Seneschal of Highgarden, who men call Garth the Gross.
Has his own candidate for Lord Treasurer. Garth Hightower, whom men call Garth the Gross.
Lord, I don't know if he's a Hightower. I think he's a Tyrell.
Wait,
unless I'm wrong.
Say it again.
Hold on, let me look up Garth the Gross. It doesn't say anything here about him being Hightower.
Didn't it say Lord Seneschal? Oh, was that Lord Seneschal of Highgarden, not Hightower? Yes. Okay, my bad. Lord Seneschal Seneschal.
Seneschal. Yep.
Seneschal. Did I get that the first time?
I think so.
Nice. I can go down here. Okay, give me the other one.
The other one is Tarly was sworn to Highgarden, as was Paxter Redwine, Lord Admiral and Master of Ships.
To Highgarden,
presently sailing his fleet around Dorne,
as was Paxter Redwine.
Lord Admiral and Master of Ships.
Lord Admiral and Master of Ships. We gotta come up with a system here.
It's true. Presently sailing his fleet towards Dorne to deal with Euron Greyjoy's Iron Men.
Dorne to deal with Euron Greyjoy and his Iron Men. I was even like narrating it so you knew where I was.
Yes, yeah. Once Redwine returned to King's Landing,
the
council would stand at 3-3, Lannister and Tyrell.
The council would be 3-3. Lannister and Tyrell.
Mace has gotten the council to be 50% Mace Tyrell loyalists in a fucking year.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Okay. Let's assume I'm on board with you here, okay?
So I'm assuming you're on board, yes.
How? Because Tyrell, Mace Tyrell has not managed to do this. Cersei Lannister has managed to do this.
And outsmarting Cersei is not particularly hard.
Yes,
that's true.
With her extraordinary mismanagement of like politics in King's Landing, she has done this. Are you suggesting that Lady Merryweather is not working for Marjorie, but is instead working for Mace?
That's entirely possible. It could also be that the Tyrells have specced out different classes of deception, which is kind of what I'm asserting here.
Okay, you think it's everyone in House Tyrell?
Everyone in House Tyrell is in on the bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Keep going. What else? What else you
got?
I'm getting there. I'm not there, but I'm getting there.
Olenna calls people fools all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she also has another nickname that she gives her son during this time, where they talk about she has trouble remembering what the term is, and Marjorie has to help her. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it's Fool of a Took.
Wrong book series.
Wow, I'm just getting nothing out my jokes today.
I laughed at that one. What do you want from me?
Damn, okay, all right, fine. No, I'm not gonna respond to your jokes either. This is gonna be a completely dry recording session.
It's what the comments always claim to have wanted.
No, fine. Okay, yeah, no, go ahead. Yes, Zach, I'm all business. I do not know this thing that you are referring to.
She says, there's this fish they have down at the Summer Islands that puffs up. What's it called? That's not exactly what she says. I got the quote.
Oh no, I have to. Okay, now.
Marjorie says it's called a puffish, and then Olenna says, as Butterbumps is juggling, she says, "Do you know my son, Sansa, Lord Puffish of Highgarden?"
Lord Puffish of Highgarden. Lord Puffish of Highgarden. First off, that's pretty funny.
Yes.
Oh, there's this fish. There's this fish that puffs up. What's it called? That's a puff fish. Oh, right.
Of course, she says, "Of course it is, my dear." Of course, that's what they named it.
Okay.
What do you know other names for a puff fish or a puffer fish?
No.
A common name for a puffer fish is a toady.
Okay.
Toady is also a slang term.
Toady is a slang term for someone who takes orders.
The term I got in the dictionary is a person who flatters another in hope of receiving favors.
Okay. That's extremely fun.
Yeah, it's someone who relies on flattery to get ahead. They find people who they can like sweet talk into giving them things.
Which is a slang term for someone who flatters and tries to curry favor. Fascinating. Zach, that's pretty tinfoily.
It is pretty tinfoily. But I'm asserting that George R. R. Martin is an expert on fish names.
He does know a lot of edible creatures.
Yeah. He also strikes me as the person who would have eaten fugu once to say he did.
Yeah, I agree with this. All right. Okay. I find this interesting. What else do you
have? Let's see what I have here. Do you want to talk about the Bad Dragon show?
Sure, I'd love to.
Talk about Mace and the Bad Dragon show.
He is really not there very much, and then he explodes.
Yep, very unfortunately, and every scene he's in is actually a banger. And it's a shame they blew him up before fully exploring his character, because I watched every like scene that he was in making this video, and that actor is doing his best to make him like a fun like frat bro style of character.
I love like Party Boy Mace Tyrell.
Yeah, yes,
He's
that's where I'm
really
going with
fun.
this. Uh, he has one of the hardest lines in the back half of the show, which he says to Tycho and Astoris. Do you remember it?
No, am I writing this down?
Yes.
Okay.
Tycho says, "We're not gamblers here at the Iron Bank, Lord Tyrell." Mace Tyrell says, "You are the world's best gamblers."
We're not gamblers at the Iron Bank. You are the world's best gamblers. That's a great line.
And that is oddly wise for a man who's supposed to be an idiot.
All right, Zach. We got a lot of circumstantial stuff here.
I have more circumstantial stuff. I have
Okay.
plenty of hearsay and conjecture.
All right.
Uh,
Give me the rest of your
another,
circumstance, and then we got if you want me to buy Big Brain Maze, it's got you gotta we gotta have
we haven't got,
something more solid than names of fish.
uh, let's talk about, so in the Bad Dragon show also, Mace offers to front the crown the money to pay off 1/10 of their debt. He has that money to do it with.
10% of the crown's debt.
Who does the crown owe their debt to? We have
Uh,
an exact breakdown from Game of Thrones.
we do, which is very cool. Um, they owe 6 million to Casterly Rock, 20 million to the Iron Bank, and the rest is scattering.
It
How'd I
says
do?
the crown is more than 6 million gold pieces in debt, Lord Stark. The Lannisters are the biggest part of it. We have also borrowed from Lord Tyrell, the Iron Bank of Bravos, and several Tyroshi trading cartels.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
That means that Mace is offering to pay off his own debt, or basically to not pay off the own debt. He's basically consolidating how much of the crown's debt he owns, because
That's
by
very interesting.
fronting the money, he could take the 10% from what they owe to other people. He is slowly buying, fucking up the King's Land debt, basically.
If you offered to buy 10% of the crown's debt, say it's 6 mil, 3 mil to the Lannisters, the rest scattering. If I pay off $600,000 of the Lannisters' portion, then my relative control over the finances of King's Landing has gone up considerably.
Yeah. And if he ever decides to call his debt, he calls even more and has a lot of leeway to ask for things in exchange.
Right, right, of course, because he's not changing the amount that the crown owes. He's just buying their debt. He's just buying their loans.
Yes.
Because this 600,000 that he's offering to quote unquote give them, he's not offering to quote unquote give this to them. He's offering to take out a loan.
Yep. He's consolidating financial control over King's Landing.
Okay, 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 Zach. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I have a couple other things here.
Yeah, keep going.
Uh, when let's go back to Butterbumps.
Okay.
That when Sansa doesn't feel like she can speak up about Joffrey and is worried about people hearing, What does Olenna tell Butterbumps to do?
Sing louder.
Sing a song. Sing it loudly. Yes. What song does he sing?
Is it the Bear and the Maiden Fair?
It is the Bear and the Maiden Fair. Uh, she says, let me find it exactly. I don't know if I saved the quote, but she said, I thought that song would never end or something to that effect.
Okay. So in the metaphor, this is a performance used for distraction, and
How
this
long is
line
the
taken
song The
out of
Bear and the Maiden?
context can be like, I thought, like, my gosh, I thought this charade would never end.
That too, but The Bear and the Maiden Fair, do you know how long the song is?
I don't.
Luckily, we have multiple performances of it. I really love the one by Christo Cakes. That one is 1 minute and 49 seconds. And the one from the Hold Steady, the rock one from the show, is less than 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 57. And that's like got some like instrumental parts to it. Other videos I can find of people performing it are pretty short. So I'm asserting that he either like doubled up on like choruses, or he played it slower so he could time it to cover up the conversation. And this is a like routine thing that Olena is used to doing, having a musician play music just long enough that they can have a muted conversation.
You think that the phrase
Because it
play
and
that
the song
louder,
ends the song ends as soon as they get the information they need.
you think that play that louder is a code phrase?
Yes.
Play that louder means we need to talk privately.
Yes.
Ah.
I have another Olena quote here. All men are fools, if truth be told, but the ones in motley are more amusing than the ones with crowns.
The men in motley are more amusing than the ones in crowns. That is Olenna Tyrell.
Yes. She also refers to the group she is having supper with as her foolish flock of hens.
Yeah.
She uses the word fool pretty liberally here.
Okay.
But fool very specifically, like, I mean, people say foolish and foolish, but they're usually comparing you to an actual, like, fool like Butterbumps is. But Butterbumps is not a fool. He is an incredibly talented close-up magician uh, with incredible gymnastic ability and apparently some level of like smarts and musical talent. Like he is clearly learned to some degree.
Zach, are you suggesting right now at this moment that Butterbumps is Mace Tyrell and they do like a the prestige thing where they switch places?
No, but that's incredible. And I wish I had thought of that. No, what I'm suggesting is that Butterbumps is introduced right as we're talking about Mace, and I think he's supposed to be a metaphor for it. Because let me try and piece this all together, and let me see if I have anything to throw in that bottom left corner.
I think I see where you're coming
Oh,
from.
I do want to point out that one of the ways that Mace bonds with Tycho is he starts singing. And one of my favorite Mace Tyrell moments from the show. He's a competent singer.
Okay. Mace is a competent singer in Game of Thrones.
Let me as it appeared to me in my head. I want to walk through creations with Peter Baelish. and Mace Tyrell and Olenna Tyrell went. You're not moving anything, Tom. Am I disconnected? Hold on.
No, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
All right. We've had mild technical difficulties.
Technical
Zach, give me
difficulties.
1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, go right ahead.
Uh, yeah. So let's run the tape back here. Littlefinger shows up to negotiate with Mace Tyrell. Mace Tyrell shows up, a Lord Paramount, you know, of the Reach, shows up to the negotiations and says, "Can my mom come too?" Which immediately does not make him look like the most competent man in the world. And then in that negotiation, Littlefinger has given himself like an unequal bargaining position, right? He is now in the room with two people who think they're acting in House Tyrell's best interest, and they can play smart cop, dumb cop with him, basically. Where Mace can be like enthusiastically being like, "Yes, I would love to hand over my daughter to marriage. No need to stipulate anything." And then Olenna's like, "Absolutely not. You cannot say yes to that." And all of a sudden, you know, Peter hears the enthusiastic yes from Mace and knows he can get there. And Olenna is the only obstacle in the way. So he has to craft a deal that Olenna is okay with to get to Mace's enthusiastic yes that he knows is there. That is
Ah.
a common scamming technique.
You think that Mace is like the shill?
Yeah, yes.
You think that
Mace.
they knew, all right, they knew Peter Baelish was showing up with the intent of scamming them. So they had one person pretend to be in on the scam and the other person be the obstacle, and by the time Peter knew what was happening, he was already too deep.
He was already bartering things away, and he had promised too much to back away that. Yeah. Uh, he shows up, and Mace is ready to sign up right away, but he brings Olenna along, who says, uh, and we've like multiple quotes from her. We had once up there, but I have another one here. "A lion is not a lap cat. A lap cat," I told him, "but he gives me a tut tut, mother. There is entirely too much tut tutting in this realm, if you ask me." It sounds like she was pretty close to the negotiations.
There's entirely too much tutting in this realm, if you ask me. That's such a fun line.
It sounds like she is giving like valid concerns. He is like, "Oh, come on, I'm trying to get this deal done," which makes it sound like there was a three-person negotiation where they were doing a really good like fucking two-person scam tactic, where one person is enthusiastic and the other is cynical, and you don't realize they're both working for the same team.
Zach, I kind of fucking love this. I kind of adore this, actually. Like, you brought it all the way back around and reframed it in like scam techniques.
Yeah,
And I like that's awesome. That's fantastic.
and that's also exactly what's happening to Sansa in this chapter. Marjorie is this sweet, like, "I just want to be friends with you. You can be part of my, like, you can hang out with all my ladies in waiting. You can, come back to Highgarden. I would love to have you marry my brother." Uh, is like the ultimate goal there. They're trying to get another political pawn. They want somebody who is pretty high up at that point in the line of succession for Winterfell, walks into the Maiden Vault to hang out with them, and they walk out with a marriage deal strung together that she did not know she was in for. And Marjorie and Olenna basically like walk her into that and get all the information about Joffrey they want at the same time.
Huh.
They do that exact negotiating thing where Marjorie is very sweet and very like kind and like is offering nice things to her, and Olenna is asking things of her that she would not otherwise answer, but she felt comfortable in that moment. Like she could trust them, and gave up crucial information, and also agreed to a marriage proposal that she was not certain about.
The situation with Olenna, Mace, and Peter closely mirrors the situation with Olenna, Marjorie, and Sansa. Both involve an opposing or apprehensive party. Both involve a good salesman, bad salesman routine, and both end with a marriage pact.
Yep.
All of this is discussed in the presence of fools.
Yep. So is Big Brain Mace, like, is he legit like a genius schemer on the level of Varys and Peter Baelish? I don't think I would say that. What I'd say is he's got incredible like street smarts to him. He knows how to talk to people in a way that's very disarming and fun, and he can play the fool like nobody's business. And he knows how to use that for his advantage and to team up with somebody to play like a good cop, bad cop sort of like situation all the time. And he knows, that Olena can go in there and be the other half of the equation, and they can walk away with some good deals. And when you look at how like actually tight he is, like he seems to be like pretty tight by Kevin's like uh articulation of it with Tarly and with Redwine. Like it seems like he has a good relationship with most of his bannermen, and he just sort of like offered them up as people who could get advisor positions. And if you just think he's like this fun dude who likes to drink and party, you probably don't think too terribly much of him trying to nepotistically appoint two of his friends as advisors to the council. But he also did put two like hardcore like loyalists who are actually like pretty like competent in their own right. Like Paxter's good at managing his fleet, and while Randall Tarley is a hard ass, nobody ever accused him of being like incompetent.
Yeah, bad dad does not mean bad political leader, right? Bad
Yeah,
dad
yeah,
does not mean bad like field general.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He he made it look like he was just dude broing his friends into positions of power. Uh,
When in
for
actuality he was placing some of the most competent people in the realm into the positions where they would be most effective, while making sure that those people were the ones most loyal and most strongly allied with him.
yeah,
He improved the realm and got his people in places at the same time. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying that Randall Tarley is good for the realm, but I can see the argument that Mace would have that he is a competent enough leader that he is a good place in that position.
yeah, exactly. I need somebody who's good at military shit, who's 100% in my corner. Brandel Tarley is pretty freaking good for fitting that bill.
Big Brain Mace?
My take on Big Brain Mace has always been that he's not particularly smart, but he knows where to put people. He's a great manager, basically. I've now taken another step too. He's not actually that dumb. He has specked out in charisma. He's specked out in being this affable, unassuming guy who's fun to have at a party, who does not seem like he could be a schemer, because he knows that there is scheming going on in the background, and he is actively playing a role in it. But he's the face. He is the like uh friendly outward part of it, and then he always has a schemer in his mother there to help him out.
I didn't think this was going to be a real video, Zach. This is a really good position to take. I actually like this and respect this a lot. This is very cool. And
Thank you.
I think I buy it. I think I buy it 100% actually. This makes a lot of sense. This explains
Yeah.
all of his actions and all of the extremely cavalier and arguably dangerous insulting that Olenna does of Mace.
Yeah. I need everybody to think I think he's dumb.
Yep. That is the
Because
character
otherwise
he's playing.
because otherwise they will see him for what he is, a charming, affable guy who invites a spy to every single meeting.
Shit. Zach, is that the show? Do you have anything else? That's pretty good.
That's pretty much all I got.
I like that a lot, actually. That's very cool. Yeah, all right. I've reversed my position on Big Brain Mace. This is like the thumbnail is definitely gonna be Big Brain Mace.
Hear me out. Yes.
But what's the title of the video? Like, is it like
no, I want to go
Mace
with
the
Big
Magician?
Brain Mace. Hear me out. This is a sequel to Rhaegar Targaryen. Hear me out.
Perfect.
And much like you kind of convinced me at the end. I think I kind of got you in the brain space where this theory doesn't seem that implausible.
No, Zach, you got me actually. No, I am unwilling to say it doesn't seem it seems kind of plausible. I'm like, yeah, this actually tracks really well.
Okay,
It's also
hell yeah.
some really cool writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing like this. Oh my god. Oh, dude, do you think there's gonna be like a Kaiser Soze moment at the end?
I don't know particularly, but like I think that at the very least, but at some point in Wins, we're going to see that he has basically got control of King's Landing, and I think Cersei from potentially a prison cell or somebody is going to go like, "Was am I that dumb, or was Mace Tyrell like fucking with me the whole time?" And we, the audience, have to wonder whether Mace Tyrell was not as dumb as we thought, or Cersei was even dumber than we thought. When the answer is both.
Yeah. Zach, that's the show. Thank you very much for joining us. At the time when this comes out, I believe that your next album will be coming out soon.
Yeah, I think in the next video I don't have a album cover yet, but it'll be late October, so we'll start the advertising for that soon. Hopefully I'll have an album cover in the near future.
Cool.
It's gonna be out in time for Halloween.
Cool, and we might have a horror video in the description also, so think about checking that out. All right, Zach, thank you very much. This has been a blast. And on something funny.
Big Brain Mace is true. You can all fight me, Glidus, and all Twifdex. I've proven it. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if your name is Alt Twifdex.
Goodbye.